Hi everybody, Carolyn Williams with Money Reverse here. We are here for episode number 8, and we are talking about 8 financial goals that every Christian should have. And topic for our 8th episode, which is our 8th goal, it is legacy goals. Legacy goals. So let's just jump right in. Now, what a legacy is something that has been received by someone who dies, received from someone who dies, or it's something that's passed on, or an event that has happened from someone in the past. So again, legacy is all about the past, and it's brought forward by someone to carry on, to basically carry on their name. So that's what a legacy is. So with that, the Bible has lots of references to legacy, lots of references to family and passing things along down through generations. Even let's go to the scripture. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. It's one that we all may be very familiar with, and it says, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children." Again, that's Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. So with that, that's kind of an instruction and advice to say, leave something for those that are come after you. And notice it said children's children. That implies a longer term leave behind. Now, so when we're planning for our demise, we know we are not going to live forever. But it is possible that our legacy can. Those things that we leave behind can be passed on through generations of stories and leaving things behind. And that is what is intended. Take a look, if you just do this as an exercise, go to the book of 1 Chronicles in the Christian Holy Bible. There are 4 chapters there. The first 4 chapters, and all it talks about in those first 4 chapters is the lineage. It just talks about this person was the child of this person, was the child of this person, and these are the children that they had. It is just laying out the lineage of a lot of people in the Bible. 4 chapters, that's 176 verses. That's just talking about the people that are tied to each other. And that is just one example. It's an extreme example because it's 4 chapters of it. Again, 176 verses. So if you don't think that leaving a legacy and having that tie to your family is important, let's just go back and read the word. It's very important. So that's something we definitely want to make sure that we do. So with that, hi Brenda, thank you for joining me. So with that, I want to tell you a couple of things that I get from that verse. Again, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Number 1, plan to leave something behind. This life is not just for you and your desires right now. Plan to leave something behind. If there was a lineage left of your family, even if you don't have children, you can still leave something behind, and you fall in that legacy, and your stories, the things that you leave behind, can go on forever as long as this family unity stays together and we continue to pass things along. So number 1, leave something behind. Again, do not consume. Don't plan to consume everything for yourself. Life is not just about you. You are here for a purpose. And I want you to believe that some of that purpose is for the people that's going to come after you. Your children, your grandchildren, and those that you love, even if you don't have children. Okay, number 2. It said leave something behind for your children's children. Interesting. Not your children, but your children's children. That implies a lot longer lasting leave behind. Meaning, in some cases, it may take a plan for that. You would have to plan for that. Now, if you are married, in the time of your demise, all of the resources that you have is going to transfer to your spouse. Legally, that's what's going to happen. To leave something for your children, you and your spouse are going to need to come together and determine what that looks like. So again, it's going to take a plan to get things down that generation. And we're not even talking about your children, we're talking about your children's children. So again, that's going to take a purposeful plan. It's not going to happen more than likely if you don't say it while you're alive. And the third thing is, I want you to know that you can redirect things directly to people in some assets if you have them as a beneficiary. For some assets, and we're going to talk about some of those, if it is where you can have a beneficiary on it, that bypasses all of the legal implications of passing things over through a will and probate or through a trust. A beneficiary gets it directly to the person that you name. And there's so many things that you can put a beneficiary on that you may not even realize that you can. So those are the three things that I really want us to know about leaving a legacy to your children's children. So that scripture, kind of what it brings to me. Now let's talk about some things to consider when you start talking about what am I going to leave behind. And this is not, this is a delicate subject. I don't want it to be a morbid subject. I'm very excited when I plan my legacy, my leave behind. I don't have my estate completely set up yet because I'm setting up a trust that will, it's a pretty elaborate trust. I'm not going to tell you about it until I get it done, because until then, everything that I tell you about is things that I've done, and I'm not going to tell you the specifics until I finish it, but it's going to be a trust that is, again, will carry on for a long time after my demise. So let's talk about some things to consider that you leave behind. First, let's talk about real property. And that's real estate, which is houses and land. There's two types of property. There's real property and there's personal property. Real property are things that you cannot move and things that are just a basic part of the earth. So real property, real estate, houses, land, anything like that. So that is something that you can definitely leave behind. And another thing is any type of investments that you have, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. In addition to that, let's look at your retirement savings as well. And retirement savings, that could be your company-sponsored plan, your 401k, 403b, 457b, or TSP plan. Any IRAs that you have, Roth IRAs or traditional, those are items that can be left behind. Again, those that I just mentioned really need to have a beneficiary on them. So also, what if you have a business? If you're running a business, what do you want to happen with the business when you're no longer here? So you want to set up some succession planning, and to be really smart about it, you will start that succession planning even before your demise is even contemplated. So if you know you want to leave your business to your children, your son, then start bringing them in the business early on so that it's not a scenario where they'll have to figure it out at that time. So also, let's look at any personal property that you have. This is the things that's not real property. This is your car, your furniture, clothes, jewelry, that stuff that you have that you can pick, that you bought, that you can move it around, and those type of things. Those are things that you need to make a plan for. What's going to happen with these things? Then you also may have look at your bank accounts as well. Any type of savings, checking, brokerage accounts. Those things need to be passed on, made payable. Now, one thing that you can do with just about every bank account, I know I did this with several of mine, is pay upon debt. You can go to the bank and just tell them you want to have a payable upon debt. POD is what they used to call it. But it's basically a card that you fill out that says, in the case of my demise, this account can be paid to this person. That way, at that time when you're no longer able to do those things for yourself, there's someone that the bank is authorized to give that money to. Otherwise, they're going to lock it down, and it's going to take a little bit of legalities, death certificate proving that you are an heir to get that money. And yeah, I know some of us here have had to go through that with our parents or with loved ones that passed. So get your bank accounts where someone else can receive it. You can add them to the account if you want, but you don't have to do that. You can just set up have it payable upon death. And that grant only comes upon your demise. So again, they will have to provide a death certificate to prove that you did pass away, but at least they would have access to those assets. So then let's talk about memories that you have. You probably have some things that may not be worth a lot of money, but they are worth so many memories. Oh my God. I have a quilt from my grandmother. My family makes quilts and I just love them. Every quilt that my mom makes quilts, and I have like 5 or 6 of them because she gives them away. We have a drawing for a quilt every year at Christmas. And my sister's quilt, and so these quilts are just precious to my family. So with that, they are so precious to me. Are they worth a lot of money? No, but they are so precious that I'm going to make sure that I direct where those things go. I have a brooch. I had a brooch. I lost it. I was so upset that I lost it. I had a brooch from my other grandmother that I got when she passed away. And I just love this brooch. I was so upset that the pin kind of messed up and it fell off one day. But this brooch, was it worth a lot of money? No, but it was worth so much to me. So with that, find those things that are worth a lot of memories, and even you can create some of those things now. Just share with your family some things that mean a lot to you. And so on that day, then somebody may say, hey, I'd like that. And on that day, you may surprise them and just leave to them those things that they know meant a lot to you. And it would kind of cherish that conversation that you had with them. So again, leaving things behind does not have to always be about a lot of money. It is about being purposeful with what's going to happen with the assets that are entrusted to you by God, and it's your responsibility to make sure that that carries out until the day of your demise. So even, again, those assets are still in your area of responsibility, so just set up a plan as to what happens with them. And again, if you're married, this is less of an issue because your spouse is, the two become one. So basically, all of the assets are with your spouse. Now, also, if you are in a community property state, and there's 9 community property states, even if you're not married, if you're living with somebody in the name of Jesus, let's work through that if that's the scenario that we have. Even if you're living with somebody in a community property state, those things are not owned by you directly. Even if you bought it with your own money, just being in a community property state and cohabitating with someone, that makes that person half owner of everything in that household. So be very careful if you're in a community property state. Now, how do we make a plan for getting these things allocated, leaving that legacy the way that to make sure that we want to have it done? And if we're trying to leave it to our children's children, again, that's going to take a plan. And that is a will. A will. Now, a will is a legal document. So you are going to need to contact an attorney, or you can do an online will planning kit. Again, that makes it into a legal document. And just write out specifically what you would like to have with your assets. What I do with my clients is we go through, and I have a worksheet that we work through, and you just list out all the things that you have. And some things you may have specifically that you want to go to someone else, and other things would just be a part of the community property, and you can choose to do what you want with that. Now, it's very interesting. I love God and I love the church. But please remember, the scripture says leave an inheritance to your children's children. It does not say leave it all to your church. You can leave a gift to your church, but I think if you do that before you leave it to your family, I think we're a little bit out of balance there. So let's make sure that our family is taken care of. And then any remaining, you can say, I want to give to my church or to any charity that you have a passion for. Any charity would be great. They would love to get your gift. And if you're in a scenario where you would have to contend with estate tax or gift tax, leaving to a charity really helps in that. And again, when you get with an estate attorney, they're going to help you to work through all of these scenarios. And let me tell you 2 that I want you to be aware of. Gift tax. in 2017, you can give away a gift of up to $14,000 and there's no tax implication at all. Up to $14,000 of gift tax. Now, if you give anything over $14,000, there will be a gift tax associated with that gift. So you can't just give all of your money away right before you die and hoping that you would not have any estate tax. Now let's talk about estate tax. Now, for those that have large estates, and I'm praying that everybody watching this video will have a large estate where we have to contend with estate tax. Amen. I will pay my estate tax. When you get an estate that in 2017, that limit is $5.49 million. $5.49 million per person. If you're a couple, double that. So that's just over 10 million, right? Close to 11 million. Then anything over that, you would have to pay estate tax on. But if it's under 5.49 million, you can give things away without having an estate tax implication. But the gift tax implication is per person per year. So if you have a larger estate, it may be a good idea to say, start giving those things away before your demise, $14,000 a year per person. So you don't get to the end and have this large estate that has to be, in which you'd have to pay estate tax on. But again, this is all legal documents. I'm going to recommend that you get a great estate attorney and that you really get some good coaching. I can give you some coaching on this to get you prepared to get with your estate attorney and a will attorney. And you can also do, for a simple estate, you can do just an online will. And there's several that are available online here. They're digital wills, and they work well as well. So again, I think that's all that I have. If you have any questions, just leave them here. Ask any questions that you have. Whether you're watching me live here or whether you're watching this on the replay, it is never too late to ask a question here on any of these financial goals that every Christian should have. Now, this is goal number 8, and I'm going to repeat, I know that you cannot absorb 8 financial goals in a single year. I know that I cannot, and I know I don't expect you to do that either. What I want you to do, if you haven't watched the other episodes, go back through. I've done 8 episodes, and each goal I kind of went through a little bit teaching on it, and look and see which goals are most pertinent to you right now. Which of these goals do you say, I really need to work on this year? And so I want you to pick the top 3 that are most pertinent to you. Look at putting the details behind exactly what you want to accomplish in that goal, and you're going to actively work to, let's see, which finger am I going to take down? You're going to actively work 2 of those goals, and you're going to have one that you know is important, but you're not actively working right now, because I want you to have some other type of goals as well, whether they're eating healthy, exercising, spending time with family, working on your career, having some travel, getting your house done, buying a house. You may have some other goals that are not financial. And I just don't want to say financial goals is all you should be doing right now. Although I want to, I know it's not realistic. That is not the way that I did it. Each year I had specific financial goals. And there's some things that I knew were lacking, like getting my estate plan. I've known about getting this estate plan for years, but this is the year that I actually get it finished. Those of you that know me have heard me talking about this a bit. So I didn't address it the time that I knew it needed to be done. I just said, Lord, give me time on earth to get this established and get this in place. So again, there are 7 other episodes here and 8 financial goals that every Christian should have. We're again right at mid-year. We're almost at our halfway point in the year. And so go back through your New Year's resolutions or goals, whichever one you call it, and look and see how you're doing on everything that you set. And if you didn't have financial goals, ding, 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 that's what I'm doing now, is giving you an opportunity, some things to go through and look at getting financial goals included as a part of your life. If you don't set out to be better in this area, you won't be better in this area. It does not happen through osmosis. It just doesn't. going through life, if you don't say, I'm going to make a positive change in my finances, it's not going to happen. You can get more money, but you'll still be in the financial situation that you're in. If you apply the same lifestyle principles that you've been doing in the past to what you get new, you're going to apply the same principles and the exact same result is going to happen. So we'll have to kind of put some boundaries around ourselves, and we do that with financial goals. And it's a fun thing to do. It's not restrictive. So again, 8 financial goals that every Christian should have. This is episode 8, Legacy Goals. And I am Carolyn Williams, and I have a passion for living, teaching, and coaching financial empowerment using the Christian Holy Bible as a guide. Thank you for joining me. Now, I'm going to do one more session, going to pull all 8 financial goals together, be ready to answer your questions, give you some downloadables so that it'll help you in planning your financial goals. And then I'll also tell you how I can coach you through this. If you'd like to be a part of my Money Wellness program, in which I work with you soup to nuts on your finances, everything from spend management to debt planning to savings, financial goals, windfall planning, whatever it is. That's a part of my Money Wellness program, and just making sure, and I would be your coach, just making sure that you stay on the path for what you say you want to do. And sometimes it involves a lot of knowledge. It's not, beating you up and saying you must do this, you must do this. A lot of times it's just the knowledge that's sometimes not readily available unless you get some coaching or if you hire a financial planner. So with that, I'm available to do that, and I can tell you much more about my credentials in this area. And I hope that you see my passion in this area, because this is something that the Lord has called me to do. And that's why I want to give so many things out to those that love the Lord, to let us know what the Bible says that we should be doing, and also give you some practical application to show you how to do it. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Post any questions that you have now. And if you're watching this a day later, a week later, a month later, a year later, go ahead, still post any questions that you have in the comments. This information is timeless. What I'm telling you now is still going to be pertinent 6 months or 6 years from now. So there's no problem in posting questions later. Thank you so much for the hearts and for the thumbs up. I love the encouragement. It gives me some of the encouragement that I need, because if you don't know it, I'm a little bit reluctant to live video. Reluctant to video in general. So it takes a lot out of me to do this. So I just love the encouragement. It says, yay, I'm doing the right thing. Okay, I'm going to sign out. Thank you for joining me for this part of your day. And go back, watch all 7 episodes of 8 financial goals that every Christian should have. I'm going to do a wrap-up session, and I'm going to do that tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time right here on the Money Reverse page. And we'll pull everything together and get you going to get those goals set so that you can begin July, second half of the year, with your financial goals. Okay, bye for now, everybody.